The rain came down in sheets, thick and silver, turning the gravel parking lot into a shallow black mirror that reflected the bar's flickering neon crab sign. Every few seconds the red light stuttered, "Crab, no crab, crab," like it was trying to warn the world away. Inside, the air was thick with wet wool, spilled beer, and the ghost of 1,000 smoked oysters. The jukebox had quit years ago, only the storm spoke now, drumming the tin roof in angry Morse code. Cal sat hunched on the same cracked vinyl stool he'd claimed the night after night when he was 25 and invincible. His coat dripped a steady rhythm onto the footrail. He hadn't bothered to take it off. Maybe he didn't plan on staying long. Maybe he knew once he did, he'd never leave again. Mara moved behind the bar with the economy, the way people do when they've memorized every inch of their cage. She wore a black tank top despite the cold, sleeves of tattoos curling over shoulders that carried more than their share of weight. The scar started just below her left ear and hooked down like a pale fishhook into the corner of her mouth. When she was 20, she'd thought it made her look tough. At 42, she knew it just made her look tired. She poured herself a finger of the same rotgut Cal was drinking, didn't bother with a glass for him, he already had one, and leaned her hips against the cooler. "You're 12 years late for last call, Cal." He huffed a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. "Some things don't have a last call." "Yeah, like what?" "Regret. Salt in your lungs." The way a kid's laugh used to sound before the world taught him better. Mara's jaw tightened. She took a slow sip, letting the burn settle. "You came here to be poetic. There's a spoken word night in Portland third Thursdays." Cal reached inside his coat, slow, deliberate, and pulled out the photograph. The edges were soft, almost fuzzy from years in wallets and glove compartments. He laid it on the bar between them like a losing poker hand. Mara didn't touch it at first. She just stared. Two boys, maybe 17, arms slung around each other, sunburned noses, hair bleached white by summer, standing on the pier with the bay glittering behind them like broken glass. Cal on the right, cocky half grin, already practicing for the man he'd become. On the left, Leo, her Leo, laughing so hard his eyes were slits, like joy itself lived in his throat and was trying to climb out. Her hand moved without permission, fingers brushing the image as though it might dissolve. "Where'd you get this?" "Leo gave it to me." The name hit her like a slap. The glass in her hand trembled, whiskey sloshed over the rim and ran across the bar, soaking the photo's corner. She didn't notice. "He's dead," she said. Not a question, a fact she'd carried so long it had calcified around her heart. "No," Cal said softly. "He's not." Silence stretched, broken only by the rain and the low hum of the beer cooler. Mara's pulse beat in her ears, loud as surf. 3 weeks ago, Cal continued, "I'm in a dive off Burnside, trying to lose a bad night in bad bourbon. Guy at the end of the bar starts humming that old sea shanty Leo used to scream off key, 'Leave her, Johnny.' Same damn cracked note on the high part. I look up, and it's him. Older, harder, beard like he's hiding from his own face. But those eyes, Mara. You know those eyes." She did. Gray-green, ringed with gold, the color of the water just before a storm decides to kill you. "He saw me looking," Cal said. Froze like a deer. Then he smiled. Small, sad thing, and slid this across the bar. He tapped the back of the photo. "Told me if I was ever stupid enough to come home, give it to you. Said he'd stopped running." Mara finally turned the photo over. An address in neat block. Letters, somewhere outside Tucson, of all places, and beneath it, in Leo's handwriting she'd know blind, "Tell her I stopped running." Her throat closed. She tried to speak, managed only a rasp. Why didn't he come himself? Cal shrugged, helpless. Guilt's heavier than pride, sometimes. He figured you'd slam the door. Or shoot him, maybe both. Mara laughed then, a broken sound that turned into something dangerously close to a sob. She pressed the heel of her hand to her mouth until she could breathe again. "That night on the boat," she whispered. "The storm, the cargo, the blood in the bilge, I told him to run. Told him this town would chew him up and spit out bones. I made him swear never to come back." Cal nodded. He kept the swear. 12 years. But he's tired, Mara. She stared at the address until the numbers blurred. The rain softened outside, turning from fury to something almost gentle. Mara reached under the bar, pulled out her ancient flip phone, still worked, barely, and started punching numbers she hadn't called in over a decade. Her hands shook so badly she had to start over twice. Cal watched her, something tender and terrified in his eyes. When the call connected, she didn't bother with hello. "It's me," she said, voice raw. "Don't hang up." A long pause on the other end. Then a man's voice, older, rougher, but unmistakably Leo. "Mom." Mara closed her eyes. Tears cut clean tracks through the day's grime on her cheeks. "I'm closing the bar tomorrow," she said. "Day after, I'm on a bus. You still drink coffee black and burnt." Another pause, thicker this time. When Leo spoke again, his voice cracked clean in half. Yeah, I do." "Good," she said. "Save me a cup." She hung up before either of them could ruin it. The neon crab sign flickered once more and died for the night. Mara flipped the deadbolt, turned off every light except the one over the register. In the half-dark, she looked at Cal square in the face. "You coming with me, or you planning to keep running too?" Cal stood, left a soggy 20 under his glass even though the drink had been on the house for 12 years. He zipped his coat, pulled the collar up against a cold that wasn't weather. "Road's long," he said. "Could use the company." Mara pocketed the photograph, grabbed her keys, and killed the last light. Outside, the rain had stopped. The air smelled of wet pine and redemption, sharp and clean. They walked to their separate trucks without another word, engines coughing to life one after the other, headlights cutting twin tunnels through the dark. Behind them, the bar stood empty and quiet for the first time since the night Leo disappeared. For the first time in 12 years, its door stayed locked past sunrise.